So 2022 is quickly becoming a very interesting year for Nintendo because of the shuffling of the Nintendo Switch games that we thought we were going to get. Some games got delayed, some games got delayed indefinitely, some games got pushed back into 2023. Hell, some games even got moved up, which I don't really recall that ever happening anytime recently. So the landscape of how we're going to be playing Switch games as far as 2022 is concerned has gotten very different. So in today's video, I kind of want to talk about that, sort of maybe try to fill in some of the gaps that we now have as far as releases are concerned for Nintendo, and just have a little fun conversation with you guys. We're only really going to be focusing on the exclusive titles because there's a whole bunch of third-party stuff that we could talk about for hours and hours, really, because of the amount of quality titles that will be coming out. So we're just strictly focusing on the first party stuff here, or at least the console exclusive stuff. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like and share the video. But without any further ado, let's look at Nintendo's roadmap and see if we can fill in some of the blanks here. So the first game we're talking about may have already released by the time you watch this video. Hopefully you're subscribed with notifications turned on so that you get it on the day it comes out. But that is Nintendo Switch Sports, of course, coming on April 29th. And I'm going to be real, I'm really looking forward to this game. I like some casual games from time to time. I think they can be very fun. And Nintendo Switch Sports looks like a lot of fun because you know there's going to be so many stupid little kids online that are going to be playing this game. And they're going to be like, oh, I'm so good at tennis, I'm good at bowling. And then I can come along and crush them online and crush their hopes and dreams for the future and show them that, you know, life sucks. Wear a helmet, and you should be wearing a helmet when you play Nintendo Switch Sports. Of course, they're going to be adding in more sports into this game that as the game goes along that are going to be free downloads for this game. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of potential with this game. It's not going to be as big of a splash as like something like Wii Sports was, of course, because that was bundled in with the system, and you could sit here and argue that Nintendo Switch Sports may have really succeeded well if it was bundled in with the system, but I still think there's a market for games like this. I still think this game is going to be a lot of fun, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Before we get into the next game on our list to talk about, I want to give a huge thank you to World of Tanks Blitz for sponsoring this video. What is World of Tanks Blitz? You're about to find out. You know what's cool? Tanks. You know what else is cool? World of Tanks Blitz, which is a free-to-play game available on your Nintendo Switch, iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, or Steam device. What is World of Tanks Blitz? I'm glad you asked. World of Tanks Blitz is a 7 vs 7 team-based game available for free-to-play action. It also features cross-platform play, unique gameplay mechanisms such as spotting, ricocheting, and bullet penetration, 400 plus vehicles, constantly updated with events that feature immersive lores and new gameplay mechanics, and an amazingly diverse customization system so that you could stand out on the battlefield. Over 170 million players are playing this game worldwide, which you could jump into the action to, explore new worlds, enjoy new experiences. So what are you waiting for? Start your engine. Plus, for this weekend only, oh boy, do we have a new gameplay mode for you, kiddies. This is the Uprising mode, which you can unleash your tank's mystical abilities on your opponents. There's invisibility, chain lightning, time jumps, and you can do all this sort of stuff in a free-to-play game for your Nintendo Switch, iOS, Android, Mac, PC, or Steam device. So grab your Nintendo Switch, your iOS device, your Android, your PC, your Mac, or your Steam device, and download World of Tanks Blitz today and experience the action for yourself. Next up, we have Mario Strikers Battle League coming to us on June 10th, and once again, I am a huge Mario Strikers fan. Like, I feel like this is one of the most underrated Nintendo franchises, even though it's only really had, you know, 2 games added to it, but it's what introduced us to Waluigi saying "suck it," and like that is really of high cultural significance to me. That is something that is very important. You know, it teaches kids the suck it mechanism, since DX isn't really a thing anymore, and they don't see it watching wrestling much anymore, so that's very important to me. But of course, the bigger picture with this game is it's just going to be fun. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm very curious to see all the trick shots that you could do in the game, and of course, there's going to be online leagues and stuff like that, which that's not usually something that Nintendo does. Like, they kind of shy away from the more online focused titles, but it seems like this game is going to have a heavy focus on online multiplayer with these leagues where you have up to like 20 plus people into your league and do things within that league. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I know the Spawncast is doing something like really big for it as well, so I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game. Also in the month of June, we have Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, and you know, I like Fire Emblem. I grew up playing them on the Game Boy Advanced a bit, and I thought they were really fun strategy RPGs, and I think this game will be pretty cool too. The problem is with Warriors games for me, it really sort of depends on the, you know, characters that they have within the game. You know, something like Hyrule Warriors, I love The Legend of Zelda, so all of those characters really hit with me, whereas like Fire Emblem Warriors, the other one we got, you know, not quite as much emotional attachment to it. I hope that one day they just do a Nintendo Warriors game and have like Nintendo characters from a bunch of different franchises in a bunch of different worlds, because I think that would just be batshit crazy in a good way. But Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, I mean, a lot of people are looking forward to this game. It is a Switch exclusive, comes out on June 24th, so that's pretty cool. On July 22nd, Live Alive is coming out on the Nintendo Switch. This was originally a Super Famicom game that never got translated and brought over here, and holy shit, man. I am really looking forward to this game. I love how there's completely different gameplay styles within this game. I think that makes it so unique, because usually when you play an RPG game, like, yeah, you have different classes and stuff like that, but it doesn't really change how the game plays, whereas this is like different time settings and different main characters and different gameplay mechanics for each of these different time settings, which is just absolutely fantastic. You know, it's that 16-bit creativity that we saw a lot of games try to create back in that time frame that, you know, a lot of games have become cookie cutter nowadays. Let's be real. Companies are afraid to take a risk or take a chance, because if that game fails, then they're out of a bunch of money. And, you know, I get it. I get the business aspect of it, but this is my most anticipated RPG for the month of July. This game, I cannot wait to play it. July 22nd, Live Alive, I believe I'm saying that right, on the Switch. Yes, yes, yes. And of course, there's another RPG coming out on July. And of course, there's another RPG coming out in the month of July. Everyone calm down. I'm not going to forget it. Evidently, in some previous 2022 videos, I have neglected to mention this game. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, July 29th. And you know what? It looks cool. It looks cool. I do want to see the performance of this game before investing in it. I probably won't be reviewing it because, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I like some of the ideas from it, but I'm more of a Xenoblade Chronicles X guy. That's my favorite game in the franchise. If you are a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 fan, awesome. Awesome. This game looks right up your alley. Hopefully they clean up some of the performance issues, and then maybe I'll be willing to invest more time into the game and fully check it out. But I know this is a huge game for a lot of people, so I did want to mention it, of course. I love you Xenoblade fans, even though you guys hate me. Beyond that, we have 4 games that are tentatively scheduled for 2022 for the Nintendo Switch that do not have a concrete release date, that are once again exclusive games. The first game we're going to talk about is Splatoon 3. Now, Splatoon 3 was originally supposed to be a summer game, but I think the writing is on the wall with this game, and I think it's going to be more of a September or October game by bumping Xenoblade Chronicles 3 up. It's got to be being bumped up for a reason. I think a lot of us expected Splatoon 3 to come out in the month of June or July. It seems like that's not going to be the case. Maybe they just need some additional time on it, and you know what? That's fine. This is obviously a bigger game for Nintendo because of all the online stuff that they have to fit into the game, which kind of goes against their mantra with a lot of things. So I get it. I completely understand it. I don't think Splatoon 3 is a summer game anymore. I think it's going to be a fall game, but I definitely still think it's going to come out in 2022. Another game is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, which was delayed from 2021 to 2022 in the month of April, and then it got delayed again because of real-world situations. I still think this game is going to come out in 2022. Once again, I could see this just sort of releasing whenever. I don't think it's a huge enough game to where you need like months and months in advance to sort of ramp up the release date of this game. It's going to be a very niche game to begin with anyways, but I'm really looking forward to it because I love Advance Wars 1 and 2 on the GBA. So, you know, a game that will be cool, but it definitely has a limited audience. Then, of course, we have Bayonetta 3 and Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. Now, if I had to be a betting man and put money on one of these games being a 2022 game and one of these games being a 2023 game, initially, I probably would have said that I thought Mario Rabbids would be 2023 and Bayonetta 3 would be 2022, but I'm going to kind of change my tone a little bit on this. I think Bayonetta 3 will be an early 2023 game, and I think Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope will be a 2022 game, simply because you got to look at Platinum, man. You got to look at Platinum and just what they're undergoing right now. Some of the games that they've released have just been piss poor quality, you know, just very low budget stuff. There's all that stuff with the Kickstarter, and then they happen to get a new office at the same time they did their Kickstarter. And it's just like, what is going on at that company? Are they getting a little bit too big? And, you know, they're expanding a bit too much and they sort of need to rein it back in. Obviously, Bayonetta 3 is going to be a huge title for the Switch, and I feel like you need to have most of your focus in on that game, but they seem to be taking on so many outsourced projects and just doing these games that maybe this game does slip into 2023. We really haven't seen all that much from it. It could change, of course. There is a lot of time between then and the end of now and the end of the year for that game to be confirmed to be a 2022 game. And like I said, both of these games could potentially come out in 2022. But if I had to put money on one of them coming out, I'm going to put my money on Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope, which, you know, I initially thought that that game was going to be a 2023 game, but, you know, between those two games, I definitely think that game will be 2022. So it looks like the first half of the year, we pretty much know what we're going to be getting from the Nintendo Switch. The second half of the year, we have some games that are slotted for release and all that sort of stuff, but no release dates on them yet. So is there anything beyond that? Is there anything beyond what we already know? Now, Metroid Prime 4, no chance. No chance in hell, as Vince McMahon would say, of that coming out in 2022. Of course, Breath of the Wild 2 has been pushed into the spring of 2023. So what else is there going to be? What's going to be a big holiday title? That's really where E3 comes into play. Now, obviously, E3 isn't happening this year, but there's going to be a June Nintendo Direct. There's going to be a September Nintendo Direct that talks more so about spring stuff than stuff we're going to see in 2022. So all eyes are pretty much locked on to what is Nintendo going to have at the June Nintendo Direct presentation to sort of beef up the library for the second half of the year. You're moving one of your big games up, Xenoblade Chronicles, which was a second half of the year title, to more of like the middle of the year, more leaning towards the first half, with that game becoming July now. So I don't know. I think that's the big mystery, and I think that's why it's always very cool to talk about Nintendo stuff, because you have that mystery with it. With like Xbox and PlayStation, you pretty much know what they're doing this year. Like, if anything, games are going to slip into 2023, but with Nintendo, you have that sort of uncertainty. You have that sort of question in your mind, because they're not above announcing a game and then releasing it a couple months later. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it with Nintendo Switch Sports and Mario Strikers this year. These games were announced during a February Direct, and now they're coming out before the month of July. So I think the interesting factor here is going to be E3, how this plays a role, because things are changing. You know, the roadmap that we've gotten has drastically changed. I think it's going to continue to drastically change. I think some things are going to slip into 2023, but I think there's going to be some more projects coming forward. Could we finally see that Metroid Prime remaster thing that we've been talking about for God only knows how long now? I mean, maybe. It really remains to be seen, but I kind of just wanted to update you guys on the roadmap, share some thoughts about the upcoming titles for the Switch. So give me your feedback in the comments section down below, what games you're looking forward to. Oh, shit, I completely forgot. There's another game coming out in 2022, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That's a huge game. Obviously, they're transferring the whole Pokemon formula and franchise. We don't have a release date for that yet, but that's going to be another huge game. So, you know, maybe that is enough. Maybe they don't need to announce something for the second half of 2022. But if I'm betting, man, I definitely put money that they will be announcing more stuff. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Once again, a huge thank you to World of Tanks Blitz for sponsoring this video. Make sure you guys check out the game, even on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, it is a free-to-play game. Why wouldn't you play a free-to-play game? Check out that special event happening this weekend as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.